All right, let's get right into it. We hear all these big corporate buzzwords like being agile or resilient, but what does that actually mean down on the factory floor? Well, today we're going to break down that exact connection, the link between a company's big picture goals and the real world manufacturing tools that make it all happen. So, have you ever looked at some companies and wondered how they just cruise through all the chaos in the world? Market shifts, sudden spikes in demand, they handle it. While other companies just seem to crumble? Well, I'll tell you, it's not luck. The secret is having a super clear strategy that perfectly aligns up what you want to do with what you can do.
So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the three main goals for any modern supply chain. Then, we're going to dive into each one, agility, resilience, and cost, and see what manufacturing capabilities actually bring them to life. Pretty straightforward, right?
Okay, and this diagram, this is basically our map for this whole explainer. Over on the left, you've got your supply chain objectives. That's the what we're trying to achieve. And on the right, the manufacturing capabilities. That's the how. The real magic is in those lines connecting them. And that's exactly what we're about to unpack. First up, agility. In the world we live in today, being able to pivot on a dime isn't just a nice little bonus, it's a flat-out survival skill. This is all about speed and being able to react. So what does it really take to build a manufacturing operation that's truly agile? The best way to think about an agile supply chain is to picture an all-star sports team. They can literally change their entire play in a split second, all based on what the other team does. See, it's not just about raw speed, it's about changing direction without tripping over your own feet. When a new trend just blows up overnight, the agile company is already getting that product out the door. So how do you actually build that? Well, it comes down to these four key tools. First, modular production lines. Seriously, think of them like Legos for your factory floor. You can just snap them apart and reconfigure them for totally different products, super fast. Then there's end-to-end visibility. That's just a fancy way of saying you can see everything in real time, from the raw materials all the way to the customer's doorstep. Advanced automation helps cut down the time it takes to switch from one product to another. And finally, mass customization, the holy grail, right? Making products tailored for one person, but doing it on a massive industrial scale.
Okay, let's shift gears to our next big objective, resilience. If agility is all about speed, resilience is about pure strength. It's about being able to take a punch. And let's be real, with everything going on, pandemics, global conflicts, crazy weather, building a supply chain that can handle a shock is absolutely non-negotiable.
A resilient supply chain is kind of like a car with an amazing suspension system. You know you're going to hit bumps in the road, right? Potholes are inevitable, but instead of the whole thing rattling apart, it just absorbs the shock and keeps on driving smoothly. It's all about expecting things to go wrong and already having a plan to bounce back, fast.
So what's in the resilience toolkit? Well, as you look at this, you might be getting a little déjà vu. Yep, there they are again, end-to-end visibility and those super useful modular production lines. But there's a new one here too, sustainable and resource-efficient processes. I mean, it makes sense, right? If you use fewer resources more efficiently, you're naturally going to be less vulnerable when shortages pop up.
And this right here is such a critical point. The smartest capabilities are like a Swiss Army knife. That modular production line doesn't just help you pivot to a new product on the fly. That's your agility. It also helps you reroute production if a critical machine breaks down. And that's resilience. It's proof that investing in the right capability can solve more than one problem at the same time. And finally, we get to the one we all know and love, cost. But we're talking about cost-optimized performance. This isn't just about being the cheapest guy on the block anymore. The modern way to think about it is being insanely efficient and stamping out waste, which, funny enough, goes hand in hand with being agile and resilient.
Yeah, this is all about being smart, not just being cheap. It's a whole strategy focused on hunting down every little inefficiency, every wasted second, every scrap of extra material, and just streamlining the heck out of it. A company that nails this can offer great prices while still delivering top quality and keeping their business healthy. And the tools for this are really pointing to the future. Of course, we have advanced and autonomous operations that reduces labor costs and mistakes. But look at the last two, because this is a huge shift. Asset-light manufacturing means you don't even own the factory. You outsource the production. And manufacturing as a service takes it even further. Think of it like a cloud service like Amazon Web Services, but for making actual physical things. It lets a company tap into a whole network of factories whenever they need them, so they can scale up or down like crazy with almost no upfront investment. So let's tie this all together. The real takeaway here is that it's not about choosing. You don't have to pick between being agile or resilient or cost-effective. A really smart, modern manufacturing strategy is all about picking and mixing these capabilities to build a supply chain that's fast, strong, and efficient all at the same time. This framework really gives us a great snapshot of where things are today. But it does leave us with a pretty cool question to chew on, doesn't it? As technology like AI and robotics just keeps getting better and better, which one of these capabilities is going to become the most important? Or will something totally new show up and define the next 10 years of how we make things? Definitely something to think about.